Good afternoon and welcome to the Student Life Series number 1, Maximizing Online Library Resources. There are currently 22 attendees in the Zoom meeting. Thank you for joining us in this session. We have with us today the College Secretary of the Asian Center, Professor Dulce Natividad, to give an introduction. Ma'am?
Sige. Maraming salamat, Rina. Si Rina Cossid ang Head Librarian ng Asian Center. At nagpapasalamat kami na siya yung nag-organize kasama ang ating main library para sa session na ito. So welcome to the Student Life Series number 1. Katulad ng sabi ni Rina, ang focus natin ngayon ay maximizing online library resources. Ito ho yung una dahil meron tayong iba pang mga naka-schedule na sessions for the semester. And the idea of having a Student Life Series is to provide support for the support to academic work of our students at paminsan-minsan meron ding nahagip na support to faculty and staff. So yung idea rin ng Student Life Series ay is to provide practical knowledge, information, and skills that will hopefully stimulate intellectual growth and personal development of our students. So ito ay ini-envision lang natin na short sessions at kung ano yung mga practical na pangangailangan ninyo para kayo ay mag-thrive sa ating universidad. Sa mga susunod na sessions after yung online library resources natin, the second session will be on scholarships and grants available to graduate students. The third session will be on plagiarism and how to avoid committing inadvertent plagiarism and how to use Turnitin. And then yung panghuling session natin for the semester will actually be in midterm, during the midterm. This will be on, we'll try to organize a thesis and dissertation writing bootcamp. And it will be for 2 weekends. So para sa mga inyo na nagsusulat na ng inyong thesis or dissertation, i-organize namin yon with you in mind. Okay, so nanghihingi rin kami ng mga suggestions sa lahat. Kung meron kayong mga naiisip na tingin ninyo ay kailangan ninyo para maging support sa inyong academic life, sumulat lang kayo sa College Secretary's Office o di kaya sa Tri-College Secretariat mail. At sisikapin namin na matugunan ang inyong mga recommendations and suggestions. So again, maraming salamat at nakarating kayo ngayong hapon.
Po, ma'am. Maraming salamat po, Professor Natividad. Okay, let's start. Today's webinar will focus on the library services and facilities. In this session, we hope to guide you through how you can maximize the use of our online resources and to be familiar with the guidelines for accessing resources amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. So during the session, kung may questions for just chat it or ilagay lang po sa my chat box and we'll answer it after the orientation proper. Today, we are fortunate to have on board 2 librarians, 2 reference librarians from the University Library. A.B. Gideon de Castro, and Ms. Yeda Marinel Arce. Before joining the university library, our facilitator was involved in the establishment of the Metrobank Foundation Knowledge Center as a project associate of Librarian Incorporated. Currently, he is a college librarian at the Information Services and Instruction section, as well as the Filipiniana Books section. He earned his bachelor's degree in the Library and Information Science from the UP School of Library and Information Studies, where he is also pursuing his master's degree. To facilitate this library orientation, let us welcome Mr. A.B. Gideon de Castro.
Hello, isang magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Thank you, Rina, for that generous introduction. Magandang hapon din po, College Sec Natividad. So, it's good to see you po ulit once again, no? From the past orientation na ginawa po natin. Alright, so I understand po ngayon, habang po ini-introduce nyo tong program, tong series na ito, meron pa po palang ilang ibang mga sessions, no? At una po itong sa library, which is a good thing on our end na we could take part, and additionally we could provide you as graduate students essential information on how to maximize and fully utilize our online subscriptions as well as our physical resources, no, if it would be possible once again. We hope that it would be possible once again anytime soon. Okay, so being a graduate student as well, nagagalak ako na may ganito talaga kayong series, and I know that this would help each and every one of you, no, bilang graduate students. Okay, so again, I'm AB. I'm from the Information Services and Instruction section, commonly known as ISAIS. So our contemporary are other reference sections in other libraries. So if you're referring to the reference section of the UP Diliman, that's us. So that's ISAIS. Okay. So with me here, I have Yeda as well, our colleague from the Information Services as well. I am a librarian for the Filipiniana book section, nabanggit nga ni Rina, and I see some names here who have been borrowing from the Filipiniana book section. So it's very nice that some of you are here and I know your names. Okay, so sana po patuloy pa rin po ang paggamit natin ng ating mga silid aklatan. Okay, and nagagak din ako. I have some of my friends who are here. We used to work together in the archives, Rina, Julie, as well as Miss Michelle Deloria here. So I guess this is a meeting of friends as well as users and other acquaintances. All right. So moving on, Research Made Easy is actually what we named our library orientation and instruction program. So originally, this was designed for freshmen as well as students who are enrolled in ENG 13. I think it's about college or academic writing. Yes, formerly ENG 13, but eventually.
Okay, yeah, plenary. Okay, gets.
All right. So as time went on.
Okay, thank you.
Pwedeng paki-mute muna.
Okay, sige po.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Joa.
All right, so all good. Eventually, this was intended for freshmen, but eventually it branched out to other programs. So bukod po dito, meron po kami nakasalang from the Geography Department, and for you as well sa Asian Center. All right. So ang flow po natin for this afternoon is that I'm going to play a short video. I think it's around 10 minutes to cover the basics and a brief summary and overview of the university library, some of its services, and part of its resources and collection. After which, I'll demonstrate these resources personally by sharing my screen. All right. So let me just share that video. So can you give me a moment? All right. So can you see the video?
Yes.
Okay po. So I'm going to play the video, and if there is a sound or an audio, please give me a thumbs up. All right.
Good day! Welcome to Research Made Easy at Your Library, an information literacy initiative of the University Library of UP Diliman. This orientation aims to make you familiar with the library's services and maximize the use of our online database collection. Through this orientation, we hope to introduce the library services we provide to the UP community, demonstrate how to use our local databases, and help you get the most out of our online resources so you can engage in meaningful research. The University Library was officially established by the Board of Regents in 1922, 14 years after UP's founding in 1908. The library building was named after our 6th UP President, Bienvenido Maria Choco Gonzalez. The building was erected between 1949 to 1950, and currently there are 29 unit libraries under the instruction of the University Library. Due to the ongoing renovation of the Gonzales Hall, the library sections are currently housed at two different locations. The administrative, user, and technical services are located at the Environmental and Energy Engineering Building at TH Pardo de Tavera Street. The University Archives, on the other hand, is currently situated at the Chemical Engineering Laboratory Building at Magsaysay Avenue just beside the Computer Center. The library's mission is to assist students, faculty, and researchers in their learning and research needs. To fulfill this, the library continuously provides timely services, creates appropriate facilities, and offers access to the latest information technologies. The library seeks to keep up with the changing times by providing information resources whenever and wherever possible. Based on our 2020 annual reports, the University Library holds 1.1 million print books, 21,000 serial titles, and over 90 online databases. The library continuously acquires physical books but is also keen on enriching its online database collection, especially now with our current blended learning setup. This semester, book borrowing will be strictly by appointment. Please make sure you schedule a pickup day and time with the unit library where the book is located. To check out books, you should provide your valid ID or Form 5. For 2 weeks, students may borrow 5 circulation books and 1 reserved book for overnight use. Reserved books are usually prescribed readings or items included in the core syllabus, whereas circulation books are typically used as supplementary resources. To borrow books, search through to class, the library's web-scale discovery service at ds.mainlib.upd.edu.ph. Contact the library where the book is located. For the email addresses of UP Diliman libraries, please visit the main library website at mainlib.upd.edu.ph. Under About Us, click College and Unit Libraries. From the same tab, you may also view the email addresses of the different sections and divisions of the main library. Just click Main Library, then click Sections. Fill out the checkout form provided by the library and indicate pickup date and time. Fines may be imposed if books are not returned on time. Please keep track of your book due date to avoid any future clearance issues. Library fees, on the other hand, are waived during the community quarantine. If you have any unreturned books, please contact the appropriate library before returning them so that necessary instructions can be given. Students are advised to use the Resource On Demand service instead of borrowing books due to the pandemic. Subject to existing copyright rules, Resource On Demand allows for the copying of particular parts or chapters of books, magazines, and other resources. It is important to be familiar with Resource On Demand policies in order to set realistic expectations for turnaround time and fees. Students are also encouraged to explore the official website of the University Library. Remember the URL mainlib.upd.edu.ph. The website also has links to newsfeed, off-campus access to electronic databases, local digital resources, requests for library services, Facebook messaging, Ask a Librarian, and the library's contact information. New services have also been introduced this semester, details on which are all available on the website. Ask CNAG is our latest Ask a Librarian service that connects students and faculty to our reference librarians. Droid, on the other hand, is our digital online information desk. Droid provides real-time answers to reference queries. When doing research, a good starting point would be to class, the library's newest web skill discovery tool, which also serves as the university's union catalog. To access to class, visit ds.mainlib.upd.edu.ph. Navigating through to class is simple. You may either do a basic or advanced search, depending on what you want to see. However, you have to bear in mind that to class is not a journal or ebook database. Instead, it serves as a locator and provides the location of the material and its status. With the Discovery Service development, it is now possible to cross-search through other local databases on a single platform. Users may access the Union Catalog, the Index to Philippine Newspapers, and the Index to Philippine Periodicals. If you are looking for local resources such as thesis and dissertations, you may visit digitalarchives.upd.edu.ph. Digital Archives is the official repository of the University of the Philippines, Diliman. As the flagship campus, it is also in charge of the permanent records of the UP system offices. It identifies, acquires, maintains, preserves, and allows access to the university's digital institutional records and memory. Theses or dissertations are accessible through this platform, which covers the year from 2012 up to the present. Please use your UP Mail when logging in. For assistance in uploading works, you may send an inquiry to Ms. Amy Lagrama, head of the University Archives. For Filipiniana newspapers and magazines, you may visit Open Access Repository at UPD. Another useful local digital resource is the Open Access Repository, which contains digitized Filipiniana rare periodicals. Materials in the OAR were digitized with the highest possible quality and may be accessed in full. This repository does not require you to log in. Just remember the link, repository.mainlib.upd.edu.ph. You may also access it through the main library website under local databases. The library also has access to online databases. Currently, we have over 90 online databases, most of which are available for access off campus. The University Library manages multidisciplinary databases, namely Taylor and Francis, JSTOR, Project Muse, Emerald, Gale Reference Complete, Sage, Springer Nature, Cambridge Core, Web of Science, Science Direct, Philippine E-Journals, Jove, CCP Online Encyclopedia, and ProQuest, all of which are accessible system-wide. On the other hand, other libraries have subject-specific or discipline-specific subscriptions, such as the College of Engineering and the College of Science libraries. We also have new subscriptions, such as Wiley Online Library, Statista, Odilo, and Press Reader. If you need information or assistance in citing sources for your academic requirements, style guides are an excellent way to go about it. You may utilize the Concise APA Handbook 7th edition and the latest edition of the Chicago Manual of Style, as they are currently part of our online subscriptions through Open Athens. Additionally, you may want to use reference management tools in organizing your resources efficiently. We recommend using Mendeley or EndNote, as we have subscriptions to both. Our remote access protocol, Open Athens, allows you to access our online subscriptions. This means you can have access to our online databases without having the need to create a separate account and password for each one. To access Open Athens, you'll only need your official UP Mail. You can get a UP Mail account at the University Computer Center if you don't have one. The app launcher may be found in the upper right corner of your Gmail account once you've logged in. When accessing, downloading, and using our resources, please be reminded of the following terms of use. Other useful links on the website gives you access to databases on trial, open education resources, and the UPD online journals managed by the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Development. Your library is the heart of the university. The university library will play an increasingly important part in your education as you advance through college. As a result, the key to a richer learning experience is your ability to utilize its resources properly. For more information on our services, please contact us through the details found on your screen. Thank you for watching and enjoy your library experience.
All right, so let me just stop sharing, and then we'll head directly to our main library website. So that's actually a brief introduction, but for you graduate students, you're allowed to have at least 10 circulation books. So instead of 5 for undergraduate students, okay? So that's one thing that I need to point out based on that particular presentation, okay? All right, so all right, so can you see the main library website? If you can, please give me a thumbs up. So hopefully you guys and girls are still there.
Yes.
All right, so nandito naman po ang karamihan sa atin. All right, so I guess I'll close my camera for now so that we could see everything clearly, and I could focus on this particular orientation and introduction to our main library, okay? All right. So this is our main library website, mainlib.upd .edu.ph. Okay. So kindly remember our website because all of the information about the university library as well as the other unit libraries are already here. Right. So you can simply view the history of the main library here, as well as what was mentioned earlier, the contact information from the college and unit libraries. Okay. Okay, so all of them are here. Most of our unit libraries already have their Facebook page. So the links are here as well. The email address of the head librarian is here as well as their contact number. Okay. So we're actually implementing a skeleton workforce. So expect that there would always be someone to answer the phone between 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if you have any issues or concerns with that particular library, so all of it is there. So let's go back to our main page. All right. So as mentioned earlier, this is our Selectronico. So basically, this is a one. I guess we could call this a one-stop shop for our resources. You can view to class, our web skill discovery service, our databases, journals, and most especially the content within this website. However, I would walk you through each and every one of them manually so that you can access them easily, right? So moving on from this website, let's go down. You have here buttons for subscribe resources, our local databases, research guide, other contacts as well, and other useful buttons here. And down at the bottom, you can just see our social media channels. So please make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and our Facebook page as well, so that you can see relevant updates and announcements from the UP Diliman Library. All right. So to continue on, we also have our useful links. And if you have questions for us, the email is down here at the bottom as well. So libraryinfo.updiliman at up.edu.ph. Okay, so please do not hesitate to contact us if you have any other concerns. All right. So moving on, we also have here our policies for COVID-19, our Citizens Charter, rules and regulation, etc. And then I want to highlight this in particular. This is actually a new service for us this semester. This is Droid. This was mentioned earlier in that short video. So basically, this is a I guess a one-on-one video call with any of us in the information services and instruction section. So this only lasts for 20 minutes. You can book this with us either through Google Meet or Zoom. You can select a date and time as well, but it would be open from Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Okay, so if you want to contact a librarian, we would be able to do so through this platform, through this facility for at least 20 minutes, answer your concerns, issues. Maybe you have a particular research in your mind, you need to locate a certain resource. You can use Droid, okay? Apart from messaging us in Facebook, apart from sending us an email, okay? So again, this is Droid. It's in the request drop down, okay? All right, so next, in terms of resource on demand, so we call this our ROD service. This actually enables you as students to request certain uh, digital copies of books or journal articles as well from us, okay? So you can see the matrix here, the material and type requested, the fees, the transaction limit, as well as the turnaround time to limit your expectations. Okay, so I guess some of the people here have already availed this particular service. I can say that from memory, I've read their names in their email. So for the others, I hope you can use or fully utilize this particular service as well. Most especially if you are currently residing in the provinces of the moment. So you don't have the ability to go to Metro Manila, you don't have the means to go to UP directly, then you can avail ROD service. Okay. However, please do take note that this is only limited um, to copying 10% of the total number of pages of the book. So if that particular material is 100 pages, we can only provide you at least 10 pages. Okay, so hopefully that is clear, right? So if you have a particular resource in mind, you know where that particular resource is located. Let's say, for example, the Asian Center Library, then you need to send an email to the AC Library stating that you want an ROD service for this particular material, right? So for our UP alumni and non-UP users, there is an additional research fee of 50 pesos. But for you students, this is entirely free, right? So this is the payment channel in the Philippines. However, if it's abroad, it's in wire transfer, right? Okay, so some of our services are the library orientation. So just what we're doing now, you can see our library orientation and the tour as well. The AVRF reservation isn't available as of the moment because some of you may or may not know the Gonzales Hall is under renovation. Okay, so we've been renovating the building. I think it's since 2020, or just straight at the beginning of the pandemic, around that time. Okay, so these are our orientation obligations, you might say. Right. Right. So moving on with our local databases, I want to emphasize these resources. And for the other services that won't be mentioned, I guess you can easily read them here or ask them um, to us. We could easily answer that. But because of our limited time, I want to focus on the online subscriptions as well as these resources that would give you access to the resources and materials that you want to have. All right. All right. So first of which is Tuklas. This is our online discovery service. You can click this link or you can type the URL ds.mainlive.upd.edu.ph. Right. Right. So for some of you here who were already with the university for some time now, years have already passed, this is the successor to iLive. Right? So if you know iLive, the interface is somehow, it's very basic. It's functional, but it's very basic. However, now we tried to, I guess, improve the interface from an aesthetic standpoint, you might say. But the thing is, it would still function like iLive. Okay, so that's our predecessor. Tuklas's predecessor. All right. So Tuklas again gives you the ability to search for materials from all of the libraries, unit libraries, and library sections within UP Diliman, regardless of their format. Okay. So whether it may be a book, I guess an ebook, serial as well, a magazine, a newsletter, it should be searchable through Tuklas. Okay. So as you can see here, this is actually the basic search. You just simply type a keyword and then you select a field. You can search by title, author, subject, and call number, and maybe an ISBN or ISSN. If you want to search for other works that you don't have a title to, you can also browse by classification. This is a Library of Congress classification, by the way, from A to Z. You can simply click on it and view all the works there. You can browse by analytic or resource type rather, analytics, article, or book, or you might be looking for a map, and most especially a thesis and dissertation to support your respective thesis and dissertation. Okay. You can also browse by database, as I've mentioned earlier. This is already comprised of the index to Philippine newspapers, Philippine periodicals, as well as the Union Catalog or iLive. So again, magazines, continuing resources, as well as newspapers are searchable through Tuklas. Okay, so I hope that's clear. Another important part is the search history. So in any case, you're conducting an extensive research, you have your search history here so that you won't miss out on past resources or materials. Okay. So you can browse by catalog, you can browse alphabetically, and also you can browse by topic or author and material. Okay. So going back to our landing page, search tips are present as well. Here are the other searching and useful tips. Also Boolean searching. So it's possible here in Tuklas. Okay. Frequently asked questions are here as well for other tips and other useful information. All right. So let's try an example or a demonstration. So again, please take note, Tuklas won't provide you the electronic copy of a material. Okay, it serves simply as a locator. So it would point you to the unit library where that particular resource is located, as well as its bibliographic information, as well as its status, if it's for regular circulation or if it's for room use only, and most especially if it is on loan. Okay, so obviously you can't borrow if it's on loan. Somebody else borrowed it. Okay. All right. So to demonstrate to class, let's say for example, I'm a CAS 1 or CAS 10 student within Philippine history, and I read in my syllabus that there is an entry, the history of the Filipino people, authored by Chodoro Agoncillo. So this is a required reading. Okay, so I'll click find. So you can see here also suggested materials. Okay, so I'm sure it's a title, but let's see what we can find. All right, so it yielded 41 results. So history of the Filipino people, for the most part, is already its title. As you can see, it's evident, authored by Chodoro Agoncillo. But I want to show you how you would be able to narrow down your search. Okay, so if you're going to look at the left-hand side of your screens, we have our facets and filters. You can search by database. So here we have catalog or iLive, as well as Philippine periodical. So definitely the book that I'm looking for is not a continuing resource. It's not a magazine. It's not a newsletter. So I'll click instead iLive or the Union Catalog. So hopefully it would narrow down the search, and it did. It reduced it down from 41 to 38. And in particular, I want to borrow a book from, let's say, the Filipiniana book section, because the Filipiniana book section contains materials that were written by Filipinos and about the Philippines. Okay, so I'm sure I would be able to find history of the Filipino people here. So once again, it narrowed down the search. You could also narrow or filter it by year. So you can use it this particular function here. You have the classification. You also have the subject, and most importantly, the author. If it's identified in your syllabus or other reference sources in the bibliography, this would be definitely a useful tool. So I'll filter it down to Chodoro Agoncillo. And lastly, you have the resource type here as well as the language. Okay. So from, I guess that was 41 entries earlier, I was able to narrow down my search to 7 entries. So it did cut me some slack in viewing all those 41 entries one by one. Okay. So let's take a look at our second example here, History of the Filipino People. It's a book, definitely. All right, so I clicked on the title and it provided me the necessary information about that particular book. So the author, when was it published, its edition, the subject, and down to the bottom, down here at the holdings, I can see where that particular material is located. Okay, so we've narrowed it down like what I did earlier to the Philippine book section, and there it is. However, this is for room use only. So meaning to say, you cannot take out the book physically outside of the Philippine book section. Okay, and as for the social sciences section, they are in reserve due to the fact that these are required readings. So I think it was mentioned earlier in the clip that for the most part, required readings are reserve books. They are not for regular circulation, except a few copies maybe. But for the most part, the majority of them are reserve books. So basically, you need to go to the library and then read them there, right? But again, in this case, during the pandemic, you can request it through the resource on demand service. Okay, so we could provide you the table of contents, and from there, select which chapter, which pages that you wish to receive, given that it won't exceed 10% of the total number of the book, right? So moving on, you can see the description here, 637 pages. And lastly, staff view. So this is for us librarians. But then again, the information here is simply about the information here as well. Okay? All right. So I want to teach you as well some of the functions that are here into class that would aid you greatly in your research. And hopefully it would reduce your time. So first is the cite function. So you can see the APA citation, Chicago style, as well as the MLA citation here. So it's already done for you. However, we as your librarians highly encourage you to double check these citations. All right. So it's still your responsibility, our responsibility as graduate students to check if the citation is correct or not. Right. But this is simply a guide. So we can treat this as a guide. All right. So moving on, we can also email the particular information here to, let's say, for example, a colleague of ours. I want to send it to my email. So check this out. So we can send it right here easily. But again, take note, you would be only sending the bibliographic information and not an electronic copy of the material. Okay. So we can also export the record. So we can export it to our EndNote as well as an RIS file. So we can upload it in our Mendeley. And if we're doing an extensive research, we can add it to our book bag. So I think all of us here, for the most part, are familiar with Shopee and Lazada. So book bag acts as an add to cart feature. Okay, so it's very simple. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to our landing page. Let's say, for example, you want other resources about the Philippines on all fields. So if you wish to add it to our existing book bag, you just simply need to tick the box. And then click add to book bag. So as you can see here, 3 items have been added to your book bag. Okay. So likewise, you can send all of the details by email to a colleague. You can export their file. You can also print it, the bibliographic information, what I've shown you earlier. And you can also delete them from your book bag as well. All right. All right. So hopefully you'll be able to utilize these functions. And if you want to perform an advanced search, you may do so. So you can add, let's say, 3 fields at a time. You can match their terms, and then you can select them, the resource type and unit library, and then click on find. Okay. So instead of using the filters and facets at the left-hand side of the screen, you can opt to use an advanced search. So it's here. Right? So that's to class. It's very simple to use, and we assure you that you'll be able to find the materials from the unit libraries through this particular platform. All right? And from there, email the librarian, inform them that you wish to obtain the book, and then set up pickup date and time. Okay? All right. So moving on. So that's one of our local resource. Next up is our digital archives. Okay. So this is its URL, digitalarchives.upd.edu.ph. So apart from the documents generated or created by the university, digitized thesis or dissertations can be found here. Okay. So but not all. This was established a few years back, so I cannot guarantee that all of our existing thesis and dissertations are here. Okay. Right. So let's click on archival resources. You can see here the personal papers of several alumni as well as past presidents of the university here in the presidential papers. But similar to class, it would only point you where that particular resource is located and other necessary information. Okay. So this, for example, from Antonino Buenaventura's collection, this was created in 1961. It's an invitational program about USD. So let's click on this entry. All right. So you can view the information here as well as where that particular material is located in Antonino Buenaventura's paper. So meaning to say you can provide this information to the staff in the archives, and they would retrieve box 12 for you and find that paper for you. Okay. Or you need to locate it yourself. You can provide the box. All right. So back to the parent collection, and that's about it. But these resources are very interesting, I assure you. So if you're gonna browse through the documents of a certain individual, their personal papers. So these are the presidential papers. These are papers from our past UP presidents. So currently here we have Alfredo Pascual and Emelinda Roman. And as for the others, we still need to um, catalog them and describe them and upload them here. Okay. So we're still in the process of doing all of this. All right. So before we go to thesis and dissertations, you can also view here the university records. These are records generated and created by the various offices of the university. Right. So again, we are still in the process of building the collection. So we need to digitize them. That load of record, we need to digitize them, all of them, in order to upload it here. Okay. And for UPiana resources, these are resources generally, or at least simply about the University of the Philippines. So you have your Philippinensian, so that's the yearbook of the university many years back. So it should be uploaded here. That's considered a UPiana material, and other publications by the university. So maybe even the UP catalog at some point. Okay. So now we could proceed with the thesis and dissertations. So again, this has been already categorized by the academic unit. So you can see here that the College of Architecture already has 1,000 entries, and so on and so forth. So let's take a look at the College of Education. All right. So these are some of the thesis or dissertations uploaded by the librarians from the College of Education, and some of the students as well. Okay. So as a student, you have the ability to upload your thesis and dissertation. Okay. So let's take a look at this one. For example, um, it was finished or accomplished in 2012. We have here the abstract, the name of the author, as well as the subject. So let's click on the title. So we can see here the abstract as well as the preliminary pages. So let's click on this one. So we can see the title page of this thesis, and it is a master's thesis. So it's here. You can see the acknowledgement, the abstract, the contents as well, but not the body of text. However, as UP students, we have access to the entire body of text through this particular platform, right? So what we need to do is that we only need to log in our DILNet account here, all right? So this is a security measure so that um, non-UP individuals won't be able to maximize or capitalize on this opportunity, okay? So this is my DILNet account. So this is what I also use in my CRS. So let's go back to our thesis and dissertations from the College of Education Library. And yeah, so this is the first entry. Then I will now be able to have access to the main body of the entire master's thesis. Okay. So it's here. But please refrain from sharing this information or providing your account to non-UP affiliates. Otherwise, I guess your account will be banned, and you will be held accountable for that action by the university. Okay? So we discourage that on your end. So this is for your own personal use, your personal consumption to aid in your research. Okay? So if you're going to use a different computer or device, please make sure that you'll log out. All right. So in a few years' time, you'll be accomplishing your doctoral dissertation or your master's thesis. Then you can deposit your work here at the digital archives. Okay. So you can deposit your work here. The steps are already enumerated here. So you have here the checklist that you need to provide, the instruction as well, describe your work, and finally upload your work. Don't worry, the librarians in your unit libraries would be able to verify and check your uploaded files, the necessary information for other errors and erroneous parts. Okay, just to make sure that your work would be in the highest quality possible before being uploaded in this particular platform. Okay, so there you go. We highly encourage you to upload your work if possible, obviously. Okay, so you have here our intellectual rights and policies, and also our FAQs. So this particular platform is being managed by the university archives. Okay. So again, that's digitalarchives.upd.edu.ph. So moving on, another local resource that would be useful is the open access repository. Now, the open access repository is being managed and handled by our special collection section. So these are resources that are, I guess, rare, and the oldest collection or the oldest resource that I know of that is with the special collection dates back to I think the 1900s or 1898 during the American occupation. Okay, so far we have 21,867 media files that were uploaded here, and they are in PDF format. But unlike the digital archives open access repository, as the name suggests, is open access, and anybody, even outside of the university, can use these references, these resources. Okay. So let's click on search. Let's try to find a particular resource that we want. But unlike to class, we can't search for a title. We can search by call number, but we can search by phrase or by word. Okay. So let's say, for example, I want to search something about the Japanese occupation. So we have 28 entries. So the resource type is indicated here. Let's take a look at this particular article. So as you can see here, the title and the abstract is here. We can download the text version, or we may opt to view the PDF version. All right. So this particular article was published in 1943, and you can download it freely. Okay. So if you're conducting a research that entails viewing or browsing old resources, I suppose, you may opt to use the open access repository. Okay. So let me just close this tab, go back. So these are rare periodicals, right? And some of them were even written in Spanish. So during the Philippine Commonwealth or during the American occupation, right? So let's take a look at another example. Or we could browse instead by the resource title. Okay, so let's take a look at this one, Academia Filipina. So as you can see, it's in Spanish, but it was published in 1966. And as you can see here, the articles were already indexed, so you can view them by article. So you can zoom it. So these were scanned with the highest resolution, the highest image quality as possible. Right? And this was made possible through our friends from Belgium, okay, from the University of Antwerp in Belgium. So this was constructed in partnership with them to preserve these rare and special periodicals. Right? So I think this would be an interesting find if you're conducting maybe a history research in history, or maybe politics, architecture, what have you. So even the newspaper is here as well. Right? So again, that's repository.mainlib.upd.edu.ph. Okay. Okay, so let me just close those tabs. And then we have our UP Diliman journals online. So this particular platform is being managed by the Office of the Vice Chancellor for Research and Development. So you can see here several journal titles that are published by our academic units and faculty. Right? So if you want to view a particular issue, let's take a look at here, view journal. So Humanities Diliman. And then you can look for the current issue or past issues. It's here. Let's click on current, and then let's click on the cover title of this particular resource. So there we go. We can view the articles here. Let's see if we can view its PDF format. All right, so we can download the file. So it's already here. Okay. So that's our Diliman, our UP Diliman journals. So you can find it here. Right. So moving on. Next, our online subscriptions. All right. So during the quarantine, we saw a drastic increase in use regarding our online subscriptions. Okay. So for the most part, they are multidisciplinary. We have plenty of multidisciplinary resources and databases, and they are on campus and off campus. So meaning to say you can access them. If you're in the university, you're going to use DILNet, or if you're in the confines of your home. Okay. So you have here our multidisciplinary resources. It's also categorized by subject matter and discipline. So arts and humanities, economics, S&D, engineering, social sciences, and so on and so forth. Right? Access points and other remarks are also indicated here. Right? Ebooks are also here. It's readily available. You can find them using Open Athens, all of them. Right? So allow me to demonstrate how will you be able to search for these online databases, these subscriptions, okay, using Open Athens. First, you need to have your UP mail. And as mentioned earlier, you can acquire that UP mail with the University Computer Center. Okay, so they will be the ones to provide you your UP mail. So that is your at up.edu.ph. Your DILNet email is your at UPD. Okay, so you cannot access Open Athens with DILNet. You need to have your UP mail. So I hope that's clear. So let me just close this main library website. So once you've logged in your UP mail, so this is my UP mail. Go to the app launcher and then scroll down, click Open Athens. So once you're in the landing page, you click login. So we're going to do this several times. Log into my Athens once again. So I closed this tab already. All right, so there's supposed to be another sign in. If you want to sign in via Open Athens or sign in via university, in this case, University of the Philippines, Diliman. So click on UP Diliman, obviously. Okay. Right. So as you can see here, there are already 113 resources listed here. So these are our online databases. So all of it is here. So for ease of use, kindly utilize this search tab. Okay. So for this demonstration, I want to show you EBSCO. It's a multidisciplinary database. And for the most part, the interfaces differ. However, the functions and the features in these online subscriptions, for the most part, are the same. Okay. So let's click on EBSCO. And hopefully we won't experience a technical difficulty this afternoon. All right. So this is EBSCO host. This is a multidisciplinary database. And this is the basic search. So let's say, for example, let's type agriculture. Let's find maybe an article about agriculture. All right. So when I typed or entered agriculture, it yielded 611,000 results. And similar to class, look at the left-hand side of your screen. We have our filters and facets. So if I want to narrow down my search, I can opt for full text. I only want full text articles or resources so that I could read them freely and without any other restriction. So as you can see, it greatly reduced the results. So apart from that, we have our source types. Let's say, for example, I just want to use some articles in academic journals. And then we have here other facets and filters. Okay. So by publication, maybe you have a particular journal title that you often utilize for research. You can opt to use or apply it here. The publisher, the company, and the language as well. Right? So let's take a look at this first entry. So you can see the title, the type of resource. I think this is important. The author as well. The journal title, so China Perspectives, and the publication date, the pages, DOI. So this is an important part of your bibliography and reference, as well as the subject here. So let's click on this title. So you can now view the abstract and the other information as well. Okay. So if you're going to look at the right hand of your screen, you can see our tools here. So you can directly add it to Google Drive, and similar to the add to bag function into class, we can add it to a folder if you're conducting an extensive research on a certain topic. We can pull all of these resources so that we can view them later on. We can also print the information here. So we can also add the citation format. We can send it by email. You could save it, and we can cite it as well, right? So you can view the citation formats here. Again, this would greatly aid you in your research, but we highly encourage you to exercise due diligence. Okay, so you have the major or common style guides here. You can also export it as a file if you wish to add it in your EndNote or your Mendeley. You can also add notes. And if you're an instructor, if you're a lecturer, you can use this permanent link if you wish to show this to your colleagues or your students. Okay, so this is a useful tool in that sense. Okay, so let's go to our result list. All right, so it says here it is in PDF full text. So ideally, I should be able to read this entire article. So let's click on that. All right, so yes, we can do so. So we can read the article, and we can print it or even download it. All right. So as you can see here, this is the download option for PDF. But I think every one of us here knows the functions here, so I won't go over downloading it anymore. Okay, so let's go back to our result list. Now, some of you might experience certain articles that aren't accessible or they don't have a PDF full text. Okay, so one, maybe they didn't really manage to upload a PDF full text, or two, we don't have access to that PDF full text. Okay, so we don't necessarily have access to each and every one of the entries in our online databases. So that goes for all of them. Okay, not just in EBSCO, but you can still inform us that you wish to have that particular article. You can find it in EBSCO, and then as librarians in UP, let us help you in finding an article from, let's say, for a different database or website. Okay, so please don't hesitate to inform us if you want a certain article and you wish to have it but you can't. Let's find a solution or a way to find it for you. Okay, right, so if you're doing an extensive research, you can add it to the folder. So add folder here, you can click this button. Then let's go to our folder. All right, so we can find the articles here in our folder. Okay, so delete item. All right, so no more item in our folder. So similarly, you can also perform an advanced search. So click on this button. So we can opt for a Boolean searching, full text, the image that you want in that particular resource, the publication type, the language, the document types entailed in that particular entry, and then click search. Okay, so we can easily do that. All right, so again, the interfaces may change, but the functions, the basic search, the advanced search will be there for all of our online subscriptions. Okay, so if I'm going to go through them one by one, it would take us a very long time. So that's why I showed you EBSCO for this particular demonstration. But another resource that I want to show you is the Philippine E-Journals. Okay, so being graduate students, and for some of us that are in Philippine studies, I think this would be a very useful research. Okay, right. So Philippine E-Journals cater to works written by Filipino authors and other materials written about the Philippines. So we can see here the journals that are here, the number of articles, the authors involved, and the publishers, subscribers, and the number of citations as well. Okay. Right. So some of the university, whether it may be or whether it's a SUC or a private higher education institution, some of their journals are already here. So that's gonna be quite useful. Okay, so you can search by journal and author. So let's say look at it. Let's say for example,
Philippine Studies kaya.
okay
Philippine
pa.
Studies Journal.
So okay, so let's go to journals. Let's see if it's here. So letter P. All right, so far Philippine Studies Journal isn't here so far. Ayun po. But don't worry, we could inform CA Logic that there is a demand for Philippine Studies Journal if you wish to put it here. But I think Philippine Studies Journal is being published by Ateneo. I'm not quite sure.
Yes, oo.
Mm, ayun. But don't worry about we'll inform um, the publisher. No, hopefully we could add it here as well. All right. So let's say, for example, let's say Manila. All right. So we have several journal titles that have Manila as its or at least part of its title. But let's take a look at an article here in Manila. All right, so let's take a look at this example. All right, so we can see here the abstract, and we can also read it online, or we have the option to download it. Okay, let's see if I can download it. All right, so it automatically downloaded the resource. Right. So if the download function isn't working, I guess you could simply inform us, and then we'll find a solution to that technical issue. Right. So these technical issues come and go. So hopefully we would be able to resolve them in a proper time. Right. Right. So I have limited time. So those are the two online subscriptions that I want to demonstrate. So let's go back to the main library website. Right. So apart from our regular subscriptions, we also have databases on trial. Okay. So as the title suggests, these databases are only available for a certain amount of time, and based on its usage statistics, we'll be able to decide if we're going to include this in our online subscriptions or not. Okay, so these are expired trials. You can see it here. So we have tons, and some of them already made it through. Some of them are already part of our regular subscriptions. Okay, so but don't worry, we'll post these databases on trials regularly in our Facebook page so that everyone in the UP community would be aware that we could use it for a certain time. Okay. We also have here our other references as well that might be useful. So these are open access resources. So UP Diliman Journals Online also has a button here, and so on. And if you have questions, you may directly send it to us via FB Messenger. So ask CNAG. So this is our Ask a Librarian service. So we call it now Ask CNAG. Just make sure to log in your Facebook or Messenger details before sending it to us. Or you may send us a web form through this function and email it to us. Okay. So here are our contact numbers as well as our social media channel in Twitter. We also have some of our librarians are in Discord, but that is in the DLRC Kapihan server. Right? So for other useful resources, in this dropdown, we have our research guides here. Right. So you can access, other resources that have already been uploaded in this particular website from our past webinar, our past lectures, and hopefully, I do hope some of you who are present here managed to attend past webinars for faculty or maybe for students as well. So that's open to both undergraduate and graduate students. So our library blogs are here as well for other relevant news, other entertaining facts about the university library. It's there. All right, so let me go back to the landing page. So given that we have tons of online databases and subscriptions, we could use Electronica to narrow down our search or at least utilize all of them. Okay. So you can simply go to databases or journals and then enter, let's say, for example, a certain um, piece or a keyword in your research. Let's say Ukraine and Russia. So this function actually curates all of the resources available from all of our online subscriptions into into a single list. Okay. All right. So you can find them here. Or if you want to go to that particular database, you can see, let's say this particular entry, it's in Gale. You can go directly to Gale using our Open Athens and then filter the resources from there. Okay, so that's possible, and this is another option, right? And also, if you want relevant use in this website, you can search. You can perform a site search. Okay, so let's say, for example, upskill. So this was a past webinar series that we have conducted. So it was conducted, I think, yeah, August for faculty or maybe for the students. Okay, so you can click on that particular entry. So there we go. So you can use this particular site search function if you want to search for other relevant use, right? So I guess that's it on my end for our library orientation. I hope that that's a lot to digest, obviously, but whenever if you ever have any other concerns or issues, we're just a click away. So you can send us a message anytime in Facebook. Given that if it's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., we're sure to answer that question. Okay. But I do understand, no? I think Rina has several questions.
So, narinig po ba ako?
Yes, Rina.
For the questions, I will share my screen.
I'll do my best to answer these questions and shed some light on them. All right, so
Hello. Sorry. Yan. Kita po yung screen?
yes, Rina. Wait, before we continue, no, there's already a question for me. I'll just read it first, Rina and Prof. Atividad. Do we need UPID to borrow books from the library? Actually, you need to send the Form 5 for this particular semester so that the librarian that would be able to read it would be able to verify your student number as well as your enrollment status. Okay. So I think this is a common issue, no? You already paid your Form 5, however, the cashier is not able to verify it, let's say, as of the moment. Okay? So in our system, you're still not enrolled. So we need to wait first for the cashier to verify your payment so that the system would understand that you have already paid. Okay? So that's one of the common issues kasi po ngayon during enrollment, at least the first weeks of enrollment period. So that's on the cashier's end. Okay? So hopefully that's clear.
So, AB, so i-scan lang nila yung Form 5 at ipapadala sa library.
Yes po.
And then, ano yun, every time na maghihiram ang mga estudyante o one time lang nila ipapadala?
One time lang po, pero it really depends po on the librarian who would answer. Okay, I think Rina would like to add on that.
Yes, ma'am. I-discuss po dun siya mamaya. May question po about sa resource and demand and yung mga requirements for students na gusto mag-request.
Okay, sige.
First question, Sir EB.
So, alright. So what if until now, my UP email is not yet okay? So that's rather vague. So it's not okay in what sense? So meaning to say you cannot access your UP mail or you don't
Or wala
have
pa
a
siyang UP mail.
Okay, so if you don't have a UP mail, you can go to the computer center's help desk. I think you can easily search it through Google, and then from them they have a step-by-step process for each frequently asked question, for each issue, and for each concern. So they have a ticketing system for that, and they will be the ones to provide you. So another issue that is common. Let's say, for example, you had your undergrad in UP Baguio, and then now you're in the Asian Center pursuing your master's degree. You cannot access Open Athens. The reason being is that your account is still affiliated with UP Baguio. Okay? So what you're going to do is that you're going to send us an email at libraryinfo.updiliman@up.edu.ph. From there, we can forward or alleviate your issue to the computer center, and they will update your organizational status from UP Baguio to UP Diliman. Okay? So that's another common issue from people who went from other constituent universities po. So hopefully that answers that, no?
Thank you. Next question.
Do we have access to Turnitin Plagiarism checker or Grammarly checker? Okay, so we don't have access to Grammarly or a Grammarly checker, but as for Turnitin, it's now being managed by the Interactive Learning Center Diliman, and I think they have plans to integrate it to OVLE. Okay, so from there, the faculty are the ones who are responsible in providing the accounts to their students in OVLE, no? So dun sa official class list nila. Okay? But in terms of using a plagiarism checker, we have our Turnitin draft coach. So if you want me to demonstrate it, I can do so. You are entitled to 3 similarity checks. Okay? So okay, so do you want me to demonstrate it, Rina?
Pwedeng ano, kasi meron kaming session na hiwalay doon. So, okay.
I see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember earlier po, no? Parang 3rd or 4th session. But anyway, yeah, we have a subscription to Turnitin. Alright, so tips on doing research. Okay, so apart from the research guides no available in our main library website, we highly encourage you to attend our semesterly webinar sessions. So we have sessions for both undergraduate, graduate students as well as our faculty. Actually, in a semester basis na siya halos eh. And from there, we always update smart search tips, citations, etc., etc., new subscriptions, relevant updates. So we highly encourage you to attend them. We regularly post it in our social media channels in Facebook. So we hope to see you there. And another incentive, we have prizes. Okay, so physical or maybe grab pay or yun. Marami kaming prizes. So we hope that you'll be able to attend. So I think in March 14 and March 21, we're going to have another set of webinar sessions because of the yung centennial ng UP Libraries natin. So yung centenary. So we have special sessions for that.
AB,
Yes po.
bago tayo magpunta sa susunod na question, kasi ako lagi kong sinasabi sa mga estudyante ko yung annual reviews. Kasi yung merong annual review of anthropology, political science, etc. At yung mga annual reviews na yon, ito yung mga articles na parang review articles discussing yung state of the art pagdating sa research in one field. So baka pwede mo bang i-demonstrate? Kasi nakita ko kanina yung meron kang annual reviews doon sa online subscription.
Or sa EBSCO nyo po ba siya nakita or sa Philippine E-Journals po?
Hindi siya sa Philippine E-Journals, pero parang sa mga on trial.
Okay, so let's see on that po. Let's see if we can search it in our databases on trial for annual reviews. It's not it here so far, pero let's take a look if it's in the EBSCO or what or kung ano man meron tayo. So actually, this is a continuous process yung logging in to open natin. So you need to log in, 2 or 3 times So hopefully we can find it here.
Ayan.
All right. So we can see it here po. So it's in ebook format. Ayun. And so far we have 48,600 entries concerning annual reviews po. So,
parang gusto ko lang i-emphasize kasi yan iba-ibang disciplines to ha. So annual review of comparative and international education. Tapos ano pa yung meron, AB?
gerontology, geriatrics.
Yeah, ito. Annual review of politics and ano yun? Policy, nakita ko. And public affairs.
Public affairs.
Oo. Pwede kaya natin buksan?
Sige ba?
Oo, para lang makita nila anong klaseng mga articles ang nandoon.
So let's see, for example, ito.
Pwedeng yung mas mas
suggest na po.
Yung kanina, yung politics and
I'll go back.
Oo, kasi Ayan, merong Global Peace, Annual Review of Global Peace.
So, this one, ma'am?
Oo, pwede. Annual Review of...
So, it's an e-book po.
E-book?
We can download it po in full text.
Actually, hindi e-book yung hinahanap ko eh. It's a journal. iba't ibang klase. It's annual reviews. So lahat ng, and it's disciplinal siya. So it's annual review of anthropology, annual review of political science. Okay, Rina.
Yes, Sir AB, you can try sa database on trial.
Okay.
Live, and then meron dun sa active trials natin. Pangatlo sa baba yung annual reviews. Mukhang yun yung si Ma'am Dulce kanina. Yan.
Oo. So sige nga, subukan natin.
Sige po.
Ukraine, yung sinulat mo kanina. Oo.
Let's see if we have...
kung meron. Walang lumabas. Ayan.
So things, everything related with Ukraine may be sa affiliation lang din, no? Or sa ano.
Or can we do gender and sexuality? Subukan lang natin.
Sige po.
Okay. So tignan ninyo, the anthropology of reform and the reform of anthropology. Ito yung sinagsisynthesize ng mga studies on this topic. So hindi siya primary study, pero these are review articles na malakihan. At kung gusto nyong gamitin sa review of literature nyo, parang panimula, scroll nyo ang mga laman ng mga annual reviews ng mga journals. So ito, sport, modernity, and the body. That should be interesting. So lahat ng pag-aaral tungkol sa sport, modernity, and the body, makukuha ninyo dyan. Sige. So yun lang, gusto ko lang i-demonstrate yun na kung nagre-research, gusto nilang magsimula, annual reviews is a good source. Yan. Sige.
Yun. So thank you for that
Salamat.
assistance, ma'am, and Rina.
Sige, Rina. So alam ko na hanggang 3:30 yung sinabi namin. Tapusin lang natin yung questions and then...
Yes. Back to Q&A tayo. Yan. Kita po yung screen, number 3. Tips on
Yes,
the week.
yes. Kita.
Then next na, dito naman, number 4. Maraming questions na ito yung content yung possibility to enter the AC library during the pandemic and kung mag-open ba yung library para po makapag-research ang mga students. For the safety na po ng faculty, students, and library staff, browsing of physical resources in UPD libraries as of now is limited and strictly for library staff only. So, sa mga gusto pong mag-request for a scanned copy of certain parts of the library collection subject to the existing rules on copyright and fair use, you should fill up our resource on demand form. Next po, possibility to borrow books or to ask for scanned copies. Same din po. First, search from to class and fill up the Asian Center Library online form, yung ROD or Resource on Demand form, and wait for further instructions. Kung thesis naman po ang kailangan ng student, same, fill up ng ROD. And since yung book po, we can forward your request to their to the author's last known email address with the help of the College Secretary Office. Dahil since sila po yung may contact sa mga past students ng Asian Center. And it will be up to the author's consent to share it via electronic means or PDF. Next is, how do we have books delivered via courier? First, check the status ng libro sa class and make sure that the book is on a regular circulation and is located or housed at the Asian Center Library. Then fill up the ROD form and wait for the possible schedule. Please take note na lang then the requester shoulders the delivery fee and booking via the courier of their choice. Either Grab or Lalamove. Students na po ang mag-book. Next po, is your library linked to the Stanford Digital Collections? And how do we access it? Bale, for this po, you may directly send a request to the Stanford University. But if they will require librarian to librarian correspondence, then we can send a request on your behalf. Usually, foreign university libraries are responsive to the requests of their counterparts. Then, last question.
Rina, bago tayo doon, actually sa akin galing yung question na yun.
Okay, ma'am.
Oo, kasi may nabasa ako na parang meron tayong link sa Stanford. Baka misimpression ko yun. Pero there was a time na parang nami-mention specifically ang Stanford. So, na-curious ako kung totoo nga yun. Meron ba tayong tie-up with any other overseas libraries?
Upon checking po, wala tayong ngayong, wala siya sa database on trial natin, ma'am. And
Okay.
Sir AV, may masasuggest or ano ka ba? Kasama ba siya sa ano?
Sa official, so far, like what you've mentioned, wala tayong official kahit na understanding, I guess. So far, wala pa po tayong any ties up with that. Except po for other higher institution libraries in Asia. So that's ONILO. So parang network of libraries lang in Asia. But not necessarily the school po.
And not necessarily may access sa library nila.
Apo, wala pa po so far. So it depends po actually din dun sa policy ng university. Let's say for example, Stanford. We'll try to request pero it depends dun sa policy nila.
Oo. Pero parang ang sinasabi nyo, there is a way kung library to library ang ang usapan to
yes
access.
Po. Yes po. We could simply ask them naman kasi on their end naman po, they're asking us as well. So let's say si NTU po, si Nanyang Technological University sa Singapore, we're receiving some of request them mula din sa students nila. So we try to process them and if possible, maaari naman. Obviously, we'll do it.
Okay, sige. Thank you. That's good to know, no? Salamat.
For the last question po, how can we ask for assistance from our librarians for the research? So, you can contact or connect with us through email. That is aclive.up.up.edu.ph or like and message us in our Facebook page, Asian Center Library. And, okay. Share ko lang din po yung website ng Asian Center. Yan. Kita po ba?
Yeah.
Ayan, sige. Because we search lang kayo Asian Center Library sa Google and then usually siya yung top to search result. Ayan. Click sa library tab. Andito yung past library orientation namin. andito po yung link ng resource on demand. So yung may mga request po na books, journal, thesis, yung mga magre-request din ng book pick-up or pagsusoli ng libro, ito po yung fill upan yung ROD form. Andito rin po sa website yung online resources na nabanggit din kanina. Then sa returning and blending of books, fines, then payments, sa mga gusto pong mag-donate. And nandito rin po yung contact information namin. And then yung link sa Facebook page namin. We are open from Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. And I think that's it. Kung gusto niyo pong makontak ang Asian Center Library, just email or message us sa Facebook.
Rina, baka lang merong mga last o parang urgent na questions ang mga kasama natin.
Actually, on my end, sige. Go Rina, go ahead. Meron ka on your end?
Wala naman.
Ayun. So, can I read on my end? May ako sa chat box ko. So far, thank you, Michelle. Pinrovide niya yung email ng DILNet. So, I'll put it in the chat box. Ayan. So, you can send them an email para po sa concerns natin regarding their UP meal. And before we close, can I have a favor? Magpapasagot lang ako ng short quiz as well as an attendance. Okay? So it's in Google form. No worries. I'll just post the link in our chat box. All right. So this is the first one. Hopefully you'll be able to answer that. And then I have two. However, I apologize. Hindi ko na manage na pa-exit yung link. So that's the first. And
We can send it po sa mga attendees namin ngayon. That evaluation link.
Sorry, Rina. Again, sorry.
Pwede rin po namin isend sa attendees today yung evaluation.
I see.
Dun sa mga hindi po makaklik or hindi na pupunta yung URL sa browser nila.
All right. So I'll send it directly na lang to your email.
Hilik ko yung
Okay.
yung eval form. So mayroon akong link. So later this day po, I'll talk to Miss Julie and
Alright, so
the evaluation. And also for the recording, bale may nagtanong, i-check pa po sa head ng ISAIS kung allowed po i-upload sa YouTube channel ng Asian Center Library. Thank you.
Parang may nakita akong nakataas ang kamay. Si Janus ba yun? Parang si Janus yata yun.
Ma'am, nasagot na yung tanong.
Ayun na po, ma'am.
Nasagot na ako.
Question
highly likely approved yung video naman. I'll send the recording.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's it. Thank you again to everyone who joined this webinar today, to our students, faculty, and staff for your support to the library. Let us know how we can help you further by connecting with us on our social media platforms. Our next student live series is all about scholarship and grants. This session will discuss various scholarships available to you as graduate students of the university. And Zoom details of that session will be sent to you soon. So we will see you in the next webinar. Thank you and stay safe, everyone.
Maraming salamat ulit kay AB.
My pleasure,
sa kanyang session for this afternoon.
Thanks for attending. Stay safe. See you in UP.
Sagutan natin yung Google form, ha?
I'll send it to Rina and her team na lang po.
Salamat.
Thank you.